and they say, go down to the courthouse, you can just get a conservatorship. Okay, that means you are getting the court involved. Third one is the healthcare power of attorney. So now we're getting into making these healthcare decisions for you. So again, very, very broad. Anything that you could authorize or do for yourself, the healthcare power of attorney is going to be able to do that. So it is a powerful document, particularly if it's in a medical crisis. So again, very broad healthcare powers and decisions that they can make on your behalf. Fourth document. This is what most of my people jump to when I start talking about who do they want to be their healthcare power of attorney. They go, oh, I want so-and-so because they will pull the plug, or they won't pull the plug. We're talking about you're at that very final stage, and the doctors have said, look, there's nothing we can do. But we can keep the body going on the machines and the nutrition and the hydration and keep our fingers crossed, knock on wood, have a miracle, maybe something will happen.
If you think it's important for educational videos like this to get out there, then please help us out by subscribing to the channel.
Most of my clients go, look, if I've reached that point, then please just let me go. That's the living will. So that document takes that decision off your healthcare power of attorney. You want them to be able to do everything else, but believe me, there is an awful lot of guilt that lingers if they actually have to make the decision. So that's most of my clients, it's like, yes, I'm trusting my daughter to make all of those decisions for me, but I don't want her to actually have to say, yes, quote, pull the plug on. So that's where the living will has you making your own decisions. And then the last one, we're going to talk a little bit more in depth on this one. It's a nomination of conservator. And this is if you get to the point where a judge is stepping in or someone's bringing a legal action because someone needs to be legally in charge of you, then here's the people that you want. Now, the way I put this together with everything else, it really shouldn't be necessary because you have a financial power of attorney, you have a healthcare power of attorney, you've already named people in this. Why should a court have to get involved? Remember when I started out saying, do you want the government in charge of making those decisions? Do you want a government process? Guardianship and conservatorship is government process. It's a judge saying, oh, well, this person is better equipped to do this than this person because they didn't make any decision. Wouldn't you rather make those kind of decisions ahead of time yourself? Yeah. So the nomination of conservator, I call it like a defensive document. It's going to list exactly the same people in your financial power of attorney to be your conservator of the estate. And separately, it doesn't have to be the same people. Here's the list of people that I want to be my conservator of the person.
Let's get that microphone on you. Good. Everything looks set.
Boss, you're up in 2 minutes. Is it the same speech as the last time?
Of course. We always push wills, and more wills.
Why not talk about revocable living trusts? I just took a class that mentioned them as a great way to avoid probate. Wouldn't the audience want to hear about that?
I'm sure they would. Look, Johnson, I know you're new to the law firm, so you probably haven't seen the revenue breakdowns. We make a significant amount of money on doing the actual probate work. When someone dies with a last will and testament, they might as well be handing us 5% of everything they own. We're not going to give that up just because it helps the clients and their families.
But shouldn't the clients at least know about revocable living trusts to avoid probate?
There are books, courses, and entire YouTube channels devoted to that. If the clients know so little about their estate that they'll ask us to do wills instead of a trust, I'm not going to correct them. Neither will you when you start meeting with clients alone. Why is the crowd starting to boo? Hey, is this microphone on already?
Protect yourself, your family, and your estate. Check out the free information in the course below.
To make the healthcare decisions for you. So if we're lining them up, a judge really has to have some kind of solid reason to not just go along with those two powers of attorney. And usually it's something like, well, okay, we see the power of attorney is actually stealing money, or there's weird stuff going around, and the court needs to supervise it. And if that's not happening, well, why would you want the court to have to say and look at all that stuff? Now, how many people here have heard, oh, we're just gonna go and get conservatorship over someone? Have you heard that? Because I've talked with a few people and they just, it's like they're jumping right to, well, okay, I see this a lot when there are children and they're turning 18. And it's like, well, they're gonna need extra help. And if I've talked with the bank, and they say, once they're 18, they're an adult. I can't do anything. And they say, go down to the courthouse. You can just get a conservatorship. Okay, that means you are getting the court involved. Not just now, but in the future as well. Every single year, there has to be some kind of accounting for everything. So that conservatorship isn't just a one-time thing where you go in and yes, okay, now you're the conservator. You have to keep records that are exact. The court approves and says, yes, this is okay, or no, this isn't. You need to put your own money in because you were abusing your court oversight every single year. I have a client that they had to do this for her son. He ended up in a car accident and it was a brain injury. And he didn't have any documents in place. And so they had to go to court, get that conservatorship. And she's like, it's just such a pain. They paid an attorney to actually handle all those filings and paperwork for about 6 or 7 years. And then she's like, this is just too expensive and it's using up my son's money. I'll do it myself, but now she's having to do hours of stuff. And she had to hire a bookkeeper who was familiar with the process anyways. Why go through it if you can put in place the documents to avoid all of that stuff?